Yeah, so when you ask me the question, how hard was it for me to transition from the streets to the Most High? The answer is it's probably the hardest thing that I've ever had to do. So when you deal with ancient cultures, you're gonna have nomenclature, you're gonna have geography, you're gonna have geology, and you're gonna have symbology, symbols that represent this particular group, this particular tribe, this particular clan. So what we're seeing here in the gang world is anthropology. That's all you're actually seeing is anthropology. All praises, let's get into it. Gorilla Pills, UrbanGRL.com.
Get you some.
Trust me, you need this.
How hard was the transition from the streets to the Most High?
Very hard. It was very difficult. You know, it took really years.
Okay, cool. So you found out about the truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know, but
You're
you know, we got newer views. 2008, You're how old?
17.
17.
Finna be 18, like then in 3 months before I turn 18.
Okay. And this when you found out about the truth?
Yeah.
How did you do that?
Seen a video.
What did you see?
Seen a video on World Star, brothers teaching the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you saw that, like, what's your thought? How your thought process? Like, what you doing at this time? What was you doing that day? What was your thought process change? Like, how did it change from at the beginning to the end of you seeing that video?
I mean, what you mean, like how I look at life before the end versus
Yeah, like,
at the end?
all right, cause you know, a nigga probably had questions and stuff. Why stuff like this? Why stuff move like this? Why this? Why that?
Yeah.
Then cool. 2008, you just see a random video. What clicked about it?
The whole thing, man. You know, first, you know, Jesus not being white, and then you know, Jesus being black, and then you know, them going into all the scriptures. I'm just seeing boom, boom, like everything making sense now. Everything adding up. Things that never made sense is making sense.
What made Jesus being black, if you feel like that stood out the most? Because some people, they see a picture of Jesus being black, they won't even give two damns about that.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I just feel like I always knew that, so, but I never knew how to prove it. I just heard, you know, people say it, and to me, that, you know, resonated with me, but I just, you know, able to see somebody to really go in the book and prove it.
Yeah.
Like that stood out the most.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay, boy, you find that out there. What's your thought process after finding out that this the truth now? You like, cool.
By the end of the video.
By the end of the video, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, I just, like, okay, like, this is it. You know, I didn't really had no doubt about it at all.
Right.
That, you know, the information being conveyed was the truth. And, but still, you know, it didn't make me necessarily change my life. I changed certain aspects about my life, for sure. I stopped doing certain things. You know, I stopped eating pork, you know, stuff like that, stopped shaving my beard, but other than that, you know, I was still in the streets, like, totally. Like, at that point in my life, I was probably, like, the deepest in the streets I've been at that. I'm 17.
Right when you find out.
Yeah, so I was deep in, and I didn't shallow up at all. You know, I was real deep in for a long time, and, you know, it meant, you know, the streets was kind of everything to me, you know, at the time for a while. So it was definitely a very difficult transition for me personally. You know what I'm saying? Like I just was really into it. I was addicted to it even. You know, there's studies and stuff that have been done that actually, you know, have classified or you know, came up with something called like a street addiction. Yeah. Niggas got street addiction. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely think I was addicted to it.
Just being out.
I love being in it. I love the thrill of it.
The new things happening every day. It ain't the same thing happening.
There's danger always. You know what I'm saying? I'm thriving off of danger, adrenaline, you know, stuff like that. You know, I really like just being in the thick of some BL. Like I enjoyed that like a lot. You know, it definitely. You know, with me especially. I'm not somebody who ever indulged or with alcohol, with narcotics, etc. So, you know, when I was doing drugs, alcohol, I gotta have a thrill somewhere. I have a certain vice, and it was definitely always, you know, the streets and women. That's always been there for me, you know. So, just being in the mix, like super duper being in the mix,
being in the city.
You know what I'm saying? Like just run around. People seeing me, you know what I'm saying? Tripping, you know, gang banging, stuff like that. that was everything to me, you know. So it was really hard for me to transition out of that. It was very, very difficult for me to transition out of that.
And I just find that crazy how different folks got like they different things that they attach to before they fully just convert. Like a nigga may be addicted to sports, or you know what I'm saying, he get his thrill off sports, so it take him longer because he got this
He's so
fantasy.
caught up on sports,
You know what I'm saying?
He got that sports fantasy,
Some niggas, you know what I'm saying, like being a barber and doing certain things like that. Some niggas women, some niggas the streets, all kinds of stuff. But it's just
Drugs,
crazy.
some niggas on drugs.
Yeah. It's just crazy what can trigger and hold up different folks for different things. I just find that wild.
Yeah. I mean, everybody little vices are different, you know. But me, the streets, man, that was real hard, and it took me, you know, really a couple years to really get out the street. I mean, a couple years. Yeah, it took me realistically, it took like 4 years, a little over 4 years.
Yeah.
A little over 4 years just to finally leave the streets alone.
Okay, cool. 4 years go by, boom, and now you like, let me leave this alone. What's the call for it to be like, all right, I'm done with this, bro?
I went to jail.
You went to jail?
I went to jail, so
Okay.
I go to jail.
How was jail?
It's BS.
Some people ain't been to jail.
Jail is just trash.
Yeah.
You know, like that's just the best way to put it. It's a really trash situation to be in. You know, to not have ability to dictate what you're doing and to be in this cell and like all of it. Jail is trash.
With a roommate.
With a room, with 2 rooms. I had 2 roommates. We in a triple bunk, you know what I'm saying?
Triple bunk?
Yeah, and then
never heard
they said when I left in that same facility, they put a nigga on the floor on the mattress. You know, so I'm glad I didn't have to go to the dorm. I would have hated the dorm even more, but I was high power, so we only go. I'm only about being high power. You know, we ain't about no low power, but I was high power, so in Dago County, so they
Dago County.
Feel me? They had me in the cells, 3-man cell.
Yeah.
You know, it's trash. The whole situation is trash. Everything about it is garbage. You know, the floor, the wall, the ceiling, the everything is garbage. You know.
What's your take about on niggas jumping fresh in prison? Like niggas just fresh as hell, all white, G-Shock. How you feel about that?
Well, you know, I feel a way about it. Well, the way I feel about it is, you know, you won't understand it unless you go there.
Unless you go through it.
You have to go there to understand that. You see what I'm saying? When you understand, you know, I had a conversation with somebody when I was in jail, and you know, they was basically saying like, you know, the black card, all we have is ourselves. We don't have anything else.
Right.
So that's what we have to showcase. So
exactly.
That's kind of like just a result of disenfranchisement. That's why you see people going hard and showing all that stuff in jail.
Yeah.
You would think, like, what's the point? Like me,
like
when I was up in there, I didn't understand, nigga, how like everybody was trying to like keep themselves presentable. And to me, I'm like, bro, it's a bunch of niggas, bro. This is a miserable situation. I don't care. I'm not gonna go out of my way to upkeep my appearance. I don't care about court. I don't care about nothing.
Exactly.
I don't care about who coming to see me on a visit, looking good for them. I didn't care about nothing because, you know, the misery associated with you know, being deprived of my freedom. But some people, I'm like, damn, like he really busting the hell out of his waves. He really, you know, they really trying to make sure they stuff is together. I wasn't off into that, but I came to understand why people do it. You know, it's also a part of holding on to something and a part of a routine and a part of a distraction from the realities of the situation that they're in. So I do understand. I just kind of was a little
at that time
just miserable about it. And then, you know, like I was doing a little bit of, you know, with the bro, one of my cellies that told me I was hard timing a little bit. Like I was just, you know, kind of letting it get to me. Like I was so mad I was in the situation, but, you know, but I understand, you know, from being in there, like why, you know, certain dudes is really like on that, like trying to keep themselves up or, you know, trying to now people's watches and chains and making fake designer up in there and all that. Like I get it now from being in there. I still wouldn't do it though.
Exactly. And the fact that you say that, it kind of, one, you talk, you know what I'm saying, you said some stuff as far as like, we just some people that's used to being on top. So when we do get in these bottom situations, we can't help but just not want to have it. It don't matter what situation we in.
Yeah.
And then how you said, they said you was hard time, and that go, when I just feel like Israelites, they come into the truth and they understand we in captivity, we been oppressed, and then you just start wanting to look like it. When you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
You can look nice, you can brush your hair, you know what I'm saying? Oil your beard up, have waves, have curly, you know what I'm saying, silky hair, all kind of stuff. But so I just be wanting to just hard time for no reason.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just feel like that parallel to that.
Yeah, it do.
Yeah.
It does. It very much does. And you know,
There's no need for it.
it's no need for it. It's more to life than that. And you got to make the best out of situations. You know, when life has you limits, you know, you got to, you know, make the proverbial lemonade in these situations, I would say.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure, you know, so, but yeah, the whole process from the streets to the Most High, it was just, you know, it was a difficult thing, but, you know, I going through it now, I could help a lot of people make the same transition because I understand the different dynamics and the variables. You know, one of the main things that outside of course, being addicted to the thrill and, you know, things of that nature of the streets, a lot of people, I mean, speaking for myself and others that I know, a lot of people feel obligated to the streets, obligated to whatever we have going on. You know, me personally, I wasn't never no dude. You know, I really looked down upon people getting out the streets. When I was young, mind you, I'm young though.
Yeah.
I'm a teenager.
When you active.
So to me, that's just like, what else is there?
Yeah.
You know, when I was young, when I was a kid, I had all kind of dreams and aspirations. But the older I got, the closer I got to adulthood, the less realistic those aspirations were in my mind, and the more realistic and attainable my street aspirations were, right? So if I'm in 8th grade now and I'm not motivated to perform academically, which is gonna be necessary to carry me into anything I wanna do as far as legitimate. If I'm not academically motivated and then I'm taking a look, I'm assessing my realistic skill set athletically, you know, hey, look, I don't feel like, my mindset was when I was 14, I'm in 8th grade, which is when I got shot, right?
Which is crazy, by the way.
Which it was crazy, right?
Being 13,
13, 14, 14, you know what I'm
14.
saying? You know, and it was going down like that. So especially me, I'm already like trying to get off the porch way earlier than that. You know, a lot of people don't start trying to get off the porch till they in high school, some in middle school. I'm already trying to get off the porch in elementary school because I was drawn to all this, you know. Go ahead.
No, like that video you showed me with that little dude. He was in the alley, he was a young nigga. I think he was gangbanging, the cops was interviewing him or something like that.
Yeah, Chipmunk. Chipmunk.
Yeah.
Chipmunk. Yeah. Legendary Chipmunk. Like, it's just, but when I was exactly like that.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying? When I was a kid.
Yeah.
Once they showed me what's going on and this is that, like, you know, I was, even before they showed me what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, when I moved to the block and it's just like, I'm seeing there's something going on out here. Like, I see like the kids that's teenagers, like I see what they doing. The older nigga, like I see what they doing. I want to be involved in that. Like I just want, like I'm just sitting there looking at them, wondering like, okay, how do I get into that crowd?
Like, that's what we growing up around. So
You know what I'm saying? How do I be a part of it? Whatever they doing, I know it's bad, but I know I want to be down with that. You see what I'm saying? Like even before that, like I lived in these apartments in my hometown, Tacoma. I lived on 56 and Orchard. This one I'm a real little kid, and it's a hood over there. And I know I would see it like in the apartments, like the older kids, teenagers, stuff like that. Like I could just tell these kids was up to no good. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, I want to be with them. Though.
like,
You know what I'm saying? But I was like hella too little then. You see what I'm saying? But and
this around when you think?
This is probably like 95, bro.
95.
Maybe.
He was already
95.
Scoping, like,
I'm already seeing that. I'm 4 or 5 years old. I'm already seeing like these are they're bad.
Yeah.
But I want to be like that though. I want to be with them, cause whatever they got going, they look like something I want to do.
Yeah.
So then, boom. When I moved to the hilltop now, it's like I'm seeing it more, but it's the same situation. Like I'm seeing it and I want to be, I don't know how.
Right, right.
So now what I would do was I would the youngest kid in the crowd that I felt like he was around my age, I'll clash with him. I like be fighting with him. But I'm only doing that to try to get, I'm trying to get involved.
Trying to
But
get in
I
the
don't know
mix.
how because I don't know none of these niggas.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm just like, I'm new here, like I don't know how to get involved.
Yeah.
So now I'm frustrated, I want to get involved. So you know, eventually, you know, I just started getting involved, you know, and I was willing to do whatever to get involved. So I was doing all kind of dumb stuff. Like they were sending me on all kind of stupid missions, but I was just gonna do it. Like I didn't care. I was gonna steal, fight. I was gonna do whatever that they was gonna ask me to do or tell me to do. Not even ask me to do, tell me to do, because I'm just trying to be a part of what's ever going on. You see what I'm saying? So after that, there's nothing that, like my mind is already made up that early.
Yeah.
3rd grade, my mind is made up. Mind you, then I'm running at school with, you know, people who, they daddies is, you know, already like 1st generation niggas in my hood. As far as when, you know, when all the Crips from California came, you know, to my community, they daddies was like the first ones. You know what I'm saying? Like they the first crop of niggas that got like put on and was gangbanging, you know, in the community. So
It was fresh.
it's to me, and then also that's my best friends at school and then my best friends at home, because at this point, at this stage, they was busing everybody different schools. So I wasn't going to school. They was busing us to a different part of town, some of us, right? But then on the block, like these are 1st generation niggas too. They little brothers and stuff is like my best friends. So, you know, that's all I'm influenced by. So I'm just with that. I'm with that all the way. So this is already, like I said, like 2nd grade, I'm already like claiming, like I'm already pushing the set, like already. You see what I'm saying? In 2nd grade, I'm already, when we jumping in, nigga come to school, say he's a blood, we're jumping him, like automatically. You know what I'm saying? Like it's no, there was no question. You see what I'm like, there was no doubt. The nigga came into class, say he's a blood, we already knew, we looked at each other like, we're moving on this nigga, first chance we get. There's not finna be no blood around us, bro. Like this is what we thinking already.
Yeah.
But I'm convinced, so mind you though, I'm moving around, like after that, after a couple years, we move. I could have reinvented my whole self if I wanted to. If I wanted to just be a regular nigga.
Exactly.
I had all opportunity because we kept moving around, moving cities, moving schools. And then with 8th grade, we stayed in the same spot, but I still was bouncing schools. But even then, like that's when like it was solidified because we was kind of stable there when I moved to San Diego County, North San Diego County, 8th grade. And again, I could have did anything. I could have just said I was a regular square. At that point, nobody knows me. And this is before the advent of the internet, where the world is like super
That's what
small.
I was thinking. I'm like, all right, the internet ain't back then, so it's
You know,
like,
MySpace is just coming out at this time.
Yeah.
So people don't, your friend moved states, bro, you don't
gone.
see this nigga no more.
It's gone until you get older.
You know what I'm saying?
now.
Until you get older and now the internet working, now you can reconnect.
Yeah.
But outside of that, and that's if you remember. But at this point in time, like, you know, I'm moving away from niggas. You know, it's only a couple niggas I stay in contact with, you know, from back home. So I'm in this situation where, hey, I can be whoever I want to be right now. Or if I want to reinvent, if I want to come be from a new hood, I can go be from there.
Why you had to move so much?
Shit, man, it was a lot going on.
Cause I remember you telling me. I remember we was on Silver. You probably didn't remember this convo, but we in the living room, and we just talking. And you was just telling me how you went from school to school to school.
Now I went to a different school. For 4th grade, I went to a different school every year. Every year for 4th grade.
When I was in elementary, I used to switch schools every like 2-3 years though. You niggas said every year.
Every year, bro. So what I do? Yeah, so when I was young, I started going to this school. It's on the north.
Was young?
It's
How old?
It's like kindergarten.
All right, so
No, before kindergarten. Head Start.
Head Start.
Head Start. Head Start is pre-K.
Okay.
But Head Start is like a welfare program.
Okay. Yeah,
For pre-K. You see what I'm saying? So you got food stamps, you can go to Head Start type deal.
Yeah.
So I'm going to Head Start. Head Start, Miss Susan. What? Miss
Teacher,
Susan.
man.
I remember all my teachers.
All right, so you in Head Start. What city this in?
So Tacoma, Washington.
Tacoma.
Jefferson. Which my nigga Day was was in that class. He was my best friend all the way from Head Start.
And Jefferson, that's what, north, south, east, west?
It's north end of Tacoma,
north,
like just on the other side of, like when the north end start,
Yeah.
it's right there, 6th Ave.
Okay, and when you go to Head Start, Jefferson, that north end, that consists of what? You got blacks, Hispanics, what you
No,
got?
well, the north end is like a white part of town.
White part of town.
But
okay.
a lot of, at this time, they're busing niggas from the hood over there.
Okay.
So like
yeah,
I said,
yeah,
my
yeah,
best,
yeah,
Daddy was my best friend all the way from there.
Yep.
So his daddy is first generation.
First generation.
His uncle, first generation.
Yeah.
Niggas who was banging in the hilltop, first generation. You see what I'm saying? So you see, I got pictures of his daddy, all Astros, entire Astros uniform on, all the way back 91. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Legendary type of stuff.
Yeah.
His pop's legendary. So
Ooh-wee.
that's all the way back. So yeah, so we getting bust there. I forget, but me, at the time, I'm living in the district though.
Yeah.
So what happens is, we moved to the hood the next year, and then that's when I'm like 5. When I'm in kindergarten, we moved to the hood, and then from there, I'm getting bussed in. You see what I'm saying? Still, but it just so happened to where I lived really where I was supposed to go to that school.
Yeah.
Then I moved to the hood, but they still was busting me into the school. But they was busting a gang of us into the school.
You saying after you moved from like the Head Start area, you moved,
Yeah,
okay, boom. And then what is it like? Okay, cool. Cause this is people for like people that like to look at maps, know where nigga, know what's going on, get a nice descriptive picture of how it's looking. Okay, cool. Boom. You moved to the hood, and where is that? You went to Tacoma still?
This on the hilltop. This is
on the
south
hilltop.
side. South
Hilltop
side
on the south side now.
Yeah, south side.
All right.
It's really technically like technically it's central Tacoma, but Tacoma is, we got 6th Ave. So 6th Avenue is like the main street that run through the middle of Tacoma.
Okay.
So if you south of 6th, that's the south side.
Yeah.
If you north of 6th, that's the north end.
The north end.
The south side and the north end.
All split up by the 6th Ave.
By 6th Ave. But you'll see it because you'll be in the hood. Like you'll be on my block, like I live on 8th. So if you walk 2 blocks, 3 blocks north, you're on the north end now.
North end.
And the street, the block, the neighborhood, the community, it looks totally different than where I live at.
Yeah.
Totally different. Nothing's the same. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a difference. At least when I was growing up, I can't tell you what it looked like now. I ain't been back in a couple years. And it's definitely changed since I was, but when I was young, when you crossed 6th Avenue, there was a clear distinction in the type of community you were in. Clear distinction.
Now you ain't been back in a minute. Right?
Yeah.
You took, and for those who don't know, right, we went to Lafayette, Louisiana.
Yeah.
And you went because it's like some origins of where you came from, right?
Part of my origin story.
Your origin story, you know what I'm saying? You went to Lafayette, Louisiana, and we went for the one of the reasons, the main reason was to get like, all right, cool, you got to see where your folks are coming from because it's origins. Tacoma, that's where you came from, you know what I'm saying? That's where that's where it started.
Yeah,
that's where it started for Guerrilla Hebrew.
Yeah, 1000%.
That's where it started, the hilltop. When I hear hilltop, I think it's
where
something.
I start.
I think it's something like just crazy. Like I don't know.
Just think of the top of it.
Yeah, like I don't know what to think of when
you
hear
read the
hilltop.
Bible and say a city on a hill.
That's what a nigga
think about
think
a
of.
city on a hill,
That's what a nigga think of. You know what I'm saying? So cool. When is Guerrilla Hebrew gonna step foot back in the hilltop just to at least like, all right, this, you know what I'm saying? This the nostalgia of it. You know what I'm saying? Get something going, get a little doc going. Just something.
Well, I'm gonna go. Well, you know, shout out my brother YG Preach. You know, he want me to come out there for an interview, so when we go out there for that, we got to go back to the hill. I'm gonna take y'all to the block, which I went back in like 2019. So 5 years ago, I went in 2022 or 2021. Yeah, I went in 2021, and then I went in 2019. But other than that, I hadn't been back since like 2011.
Yeah.
2011, yeah, 2011, I think, or 2012, something like that.
Cause when you go back, all right, boom. When you went in 2021, it's way different now. It's 2020. It's going to be 2025.
Yeah,
and
it's definitely way different from when I was a kid. You know,
exactly. And the spirit has also opened things up to get these new ideas to do things. So we go documentaries, sit down talks. You know what I'm saying? Show niggas where you used to eat. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
What your dad used to drive, what street he was going up and down. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that.
All that. We can do all that for sure.
Where the Head Start was located.
Yeah, we'll take you over to Jefferson.
What you thought, like, the first streets you was at, you was like, damn. I want to start a game. I want to be in at the crowd. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. I'll
Shit
take
like
you
that,
right there.
you know
That's
what
my
I'm saying?
block where I stayed at. Yeah, but I'll take you all there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I showed you like, boom. You know, we watched the hood vlog before in my hood. You know what I'm saying? That was on the Valley Club channel. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Yeah.
all like they was on blocks. You know what I'm saying? I really came up on and around and things
Yeah.
like that. Like, you know, I told you I know some individuals that I seen in there.
Okay.
You know, from coming up around that mud. You know what I mean? Before I moved to California and stuff. For
Yeah.
sure.
Cause you moved from Tacoma at what age?
I was 12.
Okay,
12 by
yeah.
12, yeah.
That's all your, what they call that from like 1 to 12, adolescence, or that's like 10.
Adolescence, you know what I mean? Like you're in your preteen,
It's
like
something like
it was
that.
like right before I turned 12, like the summer before I turned 12, I left
Yeah.
Tacoma.
Yeah, all that.
And I went to California.
All that from that age, that be vital and key, like how a nigga origin story come from.
Yeah, and that's why I'm gonna always represent for the hilltop. You know, I'm always gonna represent for the hilltop because there was no place I've been that was more formative to who I am
Exactly.
than that community. That community really shaped and molded the guy. I've of course changed and grown, but as
Right.
far as the foundation that I gained,
Yeah.
there, it hasn't changed from that time. I'm that
Right.
same guy that was shaped and molded right there because I had such a wide range of people around me.
Right.
I really was surrounded by more so older people.
Exactly.
It really wasn't only but a couple people my age that I was really dealing with on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
It was some younger kids, and then it was like kids that's 4 and 5 years older than me. Then I had grown men around, and I'm soaking up the game from them. So that's where I'm really getting molded at, is on that hill. So regardless of, because a lot of people, they want to put me, like I'm from California, and that's fine.
And it'll make sense because that's where you spent, you know what I'm saying, like them teenage years. That's
years.
when you really get active. Like,
and I really lived equal. If you count up all the cumulative time I lived in each, I lived 13 years in each.
Yeah. Okay.
Cumulatively.
Yeah.
Because you know I ended up moving back to Washington at a point in time.
Yeah.
So overall, I spent about 13 years in each, and then when I was 27, that's when I moved to the South.
You moved to the South.
And I've been down South ever since then.
Yeah.
So all that first 26 years of my life, it was literally cut in half. Tacoma, Washington, and then Southern California.
Okay.
You know, everywhere in Southern California. So from LA all the way to San Diego. So I'm half and half.
Yeah.
Right? But as far as my foundation, that's always gonna be the hill.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But I'm always gonna be put in the California box because of course California is more known, more popular.
Yeah.
And again, I can't say I'm not from I used
Exactly.
I used to resist that though.
Yeah.
That's how much pride I took on the hilltop. I used to resist, like, no, I ain't from California, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to, but on top of that, and then my affiliations and things like that, you gonna group me in California. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, even before I ever went to California, I was already representing a street that's in California. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So then going there, so it came full circle. Like I said, when I moved to California, I'm already from a gang here. You see what I'm saying? Without even understanding the full scope of that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So yeah.
Because you moved down there representing
I moved down there already
What
representing.
you doing though?
I'm knowing that, but it's like,
it makes sense.
it's like I didn't understand that I'm gonna be automatically grouped like, you see what I'm saying? Like I knew it, but didn't understand. Like people just automatically assume like, oh, he's from LA.
Yeah.
Like that's automatic. Like I'm in the LA boat automatically. Before, and I'm like, nah, I done came from somewhere else. But it's whatever. And then I'm coming up in middle school and in high school. That's why I moved out there in middle school.
Exactly. You know,
so I'm in middle school. I'm in high school.
Prime years.
You know, it is what it is. So you know, it just which was. I mean, it was fine as far as that goes. I'm not, because whatever the homies is on, that's what I'm on anyway.
Yeah.
You know, but some people would get confused as to like, you know, where I came from. You know what I'm saying?
Now, do you feel like, all right, you growing up in Tacoma around older niggas and stuff like that, when you moved to Cali and shit, do you feel like you had an advantage on niggas your age?
I had an advantage on niggas my age 1,000%.
Yeah, just because you was around.
The way I thought was different than niggas my age. I thought way advanced than niggas my age. Like it was niggas my age that was crash dummies just because they wanted cool points, they wanted validation, acceptance.
Yeah.
I had already went through a process of validation and acceptance.
Exactly.
I already did what I felt like I had to do to impress who I felt like I had to impress.
Exactly.
And that was it for me. I don't feel like I have to impress anybody else after that.
Chasing no high. You know
yeah, I'm not chasing as far as that goes.
Niggas that crash now just be chasing a high.
They chasing a high. They want their reputation to ring.
Yeah.
To me, when I was on that block and the older people that was making me fight and steal and do all type of BS that I was doing,
Facts.
that was to prove to them. After that, I was not impressed enough by any niggas to want to prove anything to them.
Yeah.
So but that ain't really story. So now when we're in middle school and we're in high school, niggas are trying to do that now. They're trying to prove
Yeah,
themselves.
they just now trying to hop on.
They just now trying to prove themselves. I already went through this process.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at nigga like this. So I'm already thinking ahead of that.
Exactly. You passed that. You on stage. You on the next stage.
I had a situation.
Yup.
I got into it with somebody, and my homeboy at the time, Quake, he was like, he wanted to really do something, and it wasn't even it was just words, like it wasn't even serious.
Exactly.
There was no physical altercation, and I'm like, bro, like I said, bro, you gotta ask yourself, is this gonna matter 6 months from now? And he looked at me and said, I asked him, I said, is this gonna matter 5 years from now?
Right.
And he said, it's probably not gonna matter 2 weeks from now. But he was still ready to crash out though. And I'm like, bro, you can't think like that, bro. But with him, he was dealing with whatever he's dealing with, and he's going through his rite of passage.
Yeah.
We gotta understand when we really get into the history of this all, and we understand where we come from, whether it be in the indigenous in the Americas and West Africa going all the way back to Israel, we come from warrior cultures. So as warrior culture, a young man have to go through what's called a rite of passage to enter into manhood as a warrior, as a respected warrior amongst his people, amongst his peers.
Yeah.
So this is what we're going through in middle school and high school when we're quote unquote crashing out, when we're having fights, when some of us are joining gangs and doing these things. We're going through a rite of passage. This is millennia long. This is ingrained in human DNA. So a lot of times you're looking at these young men and going, oh my God, look at what they're doing all out. It's a rite of passage.
Yeah.
And then if you're from a particular community, it's a rite of passage for you to become a representative of that community. Right? And a part of that getting jumped in is a rite of passage. It's called an initiation ritual. You want to become a part of this community.
Exactly.
And then turn around and represent it.
Yeah.
This is warrior culture.
That's crazy.
That we come from this.
Yeah.
Whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not, we come from this.
Whether it look a certain way, whether you wanted to look this way, whether you wanted to sound so ancient to where it looked different than how it's going on right now. That's crazy how you put it like that. And then when you say stuff like that, knowing stuff like that, it allow you to understand stuff way better.
Way better.
And you know what I'm saying? You ain't just gonna put a nigga beneath you and stuff like that because you knowing what they going through. And that's another way how you be reaching people and stuff because, all right, boom, I put it like this, I correlate it to this, boom, I make this make sense, and now I understand this nigga, I understand this woman. You know what I'm saying? When I'm talking to them, they feel like they can talk to me and let me know everything because I'm understanding all walks of life type.
I'm getting them.
Yeah.
If you take a look at the ancient Aztecs, you take a look at the Mexicans, the Mexican gang members being Southsiders or whatever, especially the Southsiders, they getting all their face tattooed and all those various things. You take a look at the ancient Aztecs. Look at they was doing face art, covering their whole body, doing various things, and engaging in different forms of warfare. That's what they were doing, right? You could go into certain tribes in West Africa, we're doing tribal markers all on their face, right? So then you see niggas now go and get face tattoos and all these various things. It's the same thing. It doesn't make it right, but it's the same. You have to, epigenetics is a real thing and it gets ignored in a lot of these conversations. People aren't understanding that we have things programmed in our DNA to behave certain ways and we're functioning under a certain structure in a certain society now that's not adaptable to those things. So they're being translated and filtered through this and they look a certain way. But this is really the same thing. The Mexicans ain't doing nothing different than they were before they got called Mexican colonized, made to spoke Spanish the same way. Blacks, we're not doing anything really new. We're just doing it in a new context, in a new lens, under this society, under this subjugation. But truthfully, gangbang, whatever we doing, any form of tribalism or micro-tribalism is something that is ingrained in us that we are prone to do. That's what that is. And it's what validates us as men.
Yeah.
Because warrior, that was what associated, a man was a warrior.
Yeah.
Even going back to the Hebrew culture, one of the words, you have a neutral word for man, ayash, just meaning man or ish, but then you have gabar as a Hebrew word for man, but that word also means warrior. So a man is synonymous with a warrior. So in order to be a man and to truly feel like a man, a lot of us have to go through rites of passage as warriors, warrior rites of passage. We have to engage in some form of warfare. We have to fight. We have to slap box. We have to stab. We have to shoot. That's actually a part of our DNA, like it or not. Like it or not. There's nothing we can do. If you mean to tell me thousands of years we've been like this, and now we supposed to just wake up in America and we're told that that's wrong now, and we stop being like that?
Yeah.
Nah, it's ingrained. It's in your genetic code. There's nothing you can do about it, right? Behavioral traits and patterns have been observed in science to be passed from fathers to their offspring. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, yeah. Slap boxing, chest down, nigga, all kind of stuff. All games we used to make some nigga just seem like he bigger than the next, or to show like, all right, I can take these hits. I ain't tripping. Flinch, you get 2 licks, all that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And the nigga that was tough, you know what I'm saying, they get looked at as a good name, but the niggas who was weak, they get looked at as a weak name.
Like you weak because you're not
Exactly.
you're not meeting the warrior standards
Exactly.
of this tribe.
Yeah.
It's all tribalistic.
That's
man.
all it is.
It's all tribalistic.
That's crazy, yeah.
That's all it is,
Yeah,
and people want to ignore that.
Yeah, yeah. Especially when niggas growing up, you just see all the stuff we used to do. That's exactly what that is.
That's all it is.
Niggas just want to be him, you know what I'm saying, or be part of the niggas that's him.
Yeah, because it's something called, watch, I'm gonna show you. A big man is a highly influential individual in a tribe, especially in Melanesia and Polynesia. Such a person may not have formal tribal or other authority through, for instance, maternal or material possessions or inheritance of rights, but can maintain recognition through skilled persuasion and wisdom. The big man has a large group of followers, both from his clan and from other clans. He provides his followers with protection and economic assistance, in return receiving support, which he uses to increase his status. So this is something that they looked at in anthropology, where you have a big man arise in a clan or in a tribe. So this is like somebody who either has an edge in wisdom and knowledge, or an edge in physicality, or an edge in material possessions, right? So we can translate this to the ghettos as either the nigga who can fight or shoot, right? The nigga who just was smarter than everybody, or the nigga who had the money. This is whoever got one of those 3 things is going to ascend to the top of the proverbial food chain. So when you ascend to the top of that food chain, now you start running the show. If you can get the money, well, then you're gonna have power and influence. If you smart, you can essentially imprint in niggas' minds and control niggas, right? Or if you're just a brute force, or you can do violence, you're gonna have that because people are gonna be scared of you and they're gonna follow you, and or they're gonna wanna follow after you, right? So all of those things matter. Any of those things, but that's essentially what's happening. Because I love to look at the American ghetto through the lens of anthropology, because I study anthropology in college. So when you look at things, when you take an anthropological outlook on it, things begin to make sense. And that's what I'm saying when I'm talking about the tribalistic, all these various things. This is anthropology. People are trying to make this something else. Anthropology is just the study of people and how they are, how they operate, how they act. So if we take an anthropological look, if I say, okay, boom, let's say, let's go to South Central LA. You have nomenclature, you have geography. I want you to understand, there's a YouTuber out there, big up to the YouTuber Big Blue Rag, right? He's from Doherty, California, a hood called Do-Rock Crip, Do-Rock Gangsta Crip, right? The Do-Rocks have 2 sides, the low end and the high end. That is geology. Because they're literally taking a look at the topography of this set that they claim, and one's on a high end, one's on a low end. So they have incorporated geology into their identity. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's heavy right there. Then you got West Side and East Side. Go to South Central. South Central is South Los Angeles, right?
Exactly.
It's the southern part. But they have a West Side and an East Side that's either determined by the 110 freeway or Main Street, depending on who you ask, right? Okay, so you got a West Side and an East Side. So what is that? That's geography that we're talking about now, right? The sides of it. Okay, boom. Then you have people, now you have nomenclature. You have somebody from Hoover, they gonna say they Figueroa something. They gonna put Figueroa in their name. Yeah. They might put Vermont in their name. Yeah. Why they putting Vermont and Figueroa in their name? Because these are the prominent streets that run through this community. So now you have that. That's all being incorporated into the nomenclature. Yeah. Then what'll be incorporated into the nomenclature is a sports team. So now we were the Astros. Now that's Astro Boy. That's Astro Girl. Right? All of that is in there. You got the Rolling 40s, for example. You got Spody Face. Shout out my brother Spody Face. Spody, that's the thing that the Spody 40s, right? Then you might have somebody, he's Glove Face from there. Where does Glove Face come from? Because they wear the Milwaukee Brewers throwback hat that's got the glove on it. Yeah. And the glove look like four fingers with the O in the palm. So that's the faux O. So this thing gonna call himself, Glove Face. Now, where's that nomenclature coming from? The sports team that's used to symbolize that. So when you deal with ancient cultures, you're gonna have nomenclature, you're gonna have geography, you're gonna have geology, and you're gonna have symbology, symbols that represent this particular group, this particular tribe, this particular clan. So what we're seeing here in the gang world is anthropology. That's all you're actually seeing is anthropology. So you get these different symbols, there's all of these symbols that we're adapting and we're using to symbolize different things, right? All of that is what every ancient people group does. They have symbols that represent themselves.
Exactly. You got symbols within certain tribes and certain cities and certain locations, and they got symbols on top of them symbols.
They got symbols on top of symbols.
It be like that too, y'all.
That's it. That's how these things work. So it's not all this is anthropology, and this is just tribalistic people continuing tribalism as is ingrained in their DNA.
Exactly.
That is literally all that's going on, and it's being misunderstood. And then people want to quote unquote fix or solve the problem. You want to fix or solve the problem, but you don't even understand what's going on here. None of this is the problem. Right? People, there's not anything inherently wrong with the gang.
Exactly.
What's wrong about the gang is that people who join gangs oftentimes utilize it for negative purposes and comprise themselves in negativity and self-destruction. That's what's wrong. But just a gang by itself is just, it's just, 3 or 4 people together can be classified as a gang, or however many people it is. But that gang of people can be doing good stuff and still be a gang. Go ahead.
Once you consider like the Democratic people, the Republican people, and then
that's like, you could consider that like a gang. When you read about the ancient Israelites, how the ancient Israelites were viewed by the people that were round about them before we grew into a nation, when we were just a band of people, when we were just our pops and his badass kids, they described us as a gang. That we was out there up to no good, robbing people and doing all these various things, right? But we don't have, my point is, a gang doesn't necessarily have to participate in any negativity.
Right.
So what needs to happen is, gangs need to be repurposed, right? Somebody told me the other day, somebody said, man, a gang member said this, that there is no black militia. Wait a minute, you got a black militia right now. Your hood is a black militia. You just haven't repurposed your hood into, your hood is not doing what it's supposed to do.
Exactly.
Instead of being a black militia, it is a source of black genocide. It can be reversed into a black militia though. It can be repurposed. And if you can't repurpose everybody, you can repurpose at least some people and it's salvageable. Right? But niggas ain't thinking like that. Everybody just want to condemn this stuff because they don't want to understand it and they want to engage it for what it is. You can't, these young niggas that's coming up, they need to identify with something.
Exactly.
You have to have a sense of identity, a sense of dignity, something to be proud of, something to represent. You have to. You do the right thing. Now, you know, there's going to be challenges with that, but you know,
Right.
I say repurpose these things, because these kids are going to still want to hop off that porch and represent that. You know, a lot of the problem also is that values. We have to change the value system for our youth, and they have to have the right values and ideals really drilled into their heads,
Yeah.
because you can kick all the positive stuff you want. There's always been somebody around to kick positivity within the inner cities.
Yeah.
This was shown in the Malik archetype in Menace to Society, right? You had Brother Malik, and he found Islam, and he was always preaching. He was around the quote unquote knuckleheads, and he was always preaching to them, and they didn't want to hear it. There's an infamous line that says, what? That Black Power stuff gets no play in this ride, right? So that's not gonna work. The preaching doesn't work but to a select few, an extreme minority. Why? Because there needs to be a change in the value system.
Yeah.
If the values, you can preach to me all you, like for example, one of my favorite movies all time is a movie called Belly, right? One of my favorite movies, I used to watch it ritualistically in elementary school. 5th grade, I'm watching this movie ritualistically. And that movie depicts a lot of things. It depicts fast money, it depicts drugs, it depicts women, etc. And the character that I identified with the most, of course, was portrayed by my favorite rapper, which is Tommy, which is DMX, right? He was my favorite rapper ever since he put out Rough Riders Anthem, right? Which was like the latest video ever to me. They got dogs and motorcycles and ATVs. It was insane, right? So watching that video, you know, watching that movie religiously, what's going on in my mind, was getting drilled in my mind are these things. You know, I liked what I was seeing. I liked the aggression he displayed. I liked he was getting money. I really liked his girl. You know, that's all I wanted. You know what I'm saying? All I ever wanted was a Keisha. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So in understanding that, when that's all but at the end of the movie, he, you know, changes his life and he starts following a preacher and things like that. Even though he's sent in there on some undercover agent stuff, he still, he couldn't even go through with it, and he had to, you see what I'm saying? So, but I didn't pay enough attention to that part of the movie. I'll take you back even further than Belly. Another one of my favorite movies is South Central, right? So my mother, she showed me a movie called South Central, right? This in the mid to late 90s. And again, this is, you know, South Central is about the Hoovers. That's what the movie is about, right? It's a book called The Crips that was written about the Hoover Crips, and then was changed to Hoover Deuce in the movie. But, you know, little did my mother know I'm already being introduced to this and going through, you know, my initiatory process to get involved with this when she's actually showing me this movie. She's trying to show me this movie to teach me a good lesson, right? Now, in that movie, you have OG Bobby Johnson, right? Badass Bobby Johnson, right? You have OG Bobby Johnson, and he ends up going to have a baby, J-Rock, and he ended up going to prison, right? Now, he goes to prison, and he essentially turns Muslim in prison. And he gets out of prison and he tries to deliver his son up out of the street life and, you know, turn it to a positive. And to me, I missed that part of the movie. There's one thing that stuck out the most to me in the movie South Central. And that's when they sent J-Rock to a group home. And all the kids came to trip on him in the group home. The black kids, the Mexican kids, collectively.
Right.
They all came to walk up on him at their group home. And he threw up Hoover to everybody in there, and everybody in there immediately turned down. Instantly. Out of that entire movie, that's what I saw.
Right.
It was there was no positive, none of that. I seen that street turned everybody down. Put me in that, right? Sign me up for that right now. I want to be from there.
The way you just built up to that though was just like it's like you finna just say something. He said they turned immediately down. And
I'm talking about they was walking up hard. That nigga banged on them and nigga was like, niggas start walking off. Yeah, like that. One of them. That is the only thing I saw about that movie. My mother is trying to teach me a lesson about why not to go in the street, and she not realizing that these niggas done already told me about this Hoover thing. And I already was drawn to it the moment I heard the word before I even understood about it. I said, oh yeah, put me in that. Sign me up for that now.
Right.
So, but why? Because of the values. So even when I'm watching Belly and I'm seeing at the end there's some positive that's coming out of this, I don't see that when I'm a kid. I see dope in the Dodge Intrepid bumper. I see this amazing woman that he's got, okay? Look like a ghetto Naomi Campbell, Keisha, right? I see them niggas counting money. I see them niggas putting silencers on chrome pistols and blowing people's brains out. I want to do that. But see, because the value, it's the value system. When you implement, you indoctrinate people with the right values, right? But the good is truly not valued. It's not valued. So when we're coming up in this world, all the things that are considered good are considered weak, are considered boring, are considered soft. So if they're considered weak, boring, well, why do I want to do any of that?
Exactly.
If that's how you want to categorize all the things that are good. The things that are bad or the things that are glorified, that's what we are valuing. Those are what our ideals are. So to me, I want to be from this hood. I want to live this sort of lifestyle because this is going to get me the money, the material, the possessions I want, the reputation I want, the women I want, etc. So why would I do anything else? Right. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it's a matter of changing values because these young kids, they want to jump off the porch and they want to be in a game. Right? That's what they want to do. They're not going to, if you stop all the gangs right now, they would just make new ones. Which is essentially what they're doing. A lot of these young kids wouldn't even associate with any of the bigger gangs if they didn't have to when they went to the penitentiary. But the reason why a lot of them are getting, Bloods, Crips, GDs, all this, I'm talking about around the country now, is because you gotta go to jail. And when you go to jail, there's a pre-existing structure and there's order and there's old niggas that are gonna enforce it and you don't have a switch in jail. So you have to actually get on board when you go in there to jail. So that's the only reason a lot of these niggas even have affiliations with the more traditional gangs. If it wasn't for that, they would just be repping whatever 3 letters that they made up that day and they're ready to die for that. If it wasn't for that. If they didn't have to go to jail at some point and identify with somebody. You see what I'm saying? That's real. But I understood that because again, so I'm indoctrinated with all that. I get full-fledged, 10 toes, waist deep, neck deep in the streets. And then all of a sudden, I see a video and I'm going through this enlightenment. I'm learning about, we're the Israelites and we got to follow the Bible. So I'm like, all right, I got to start. Like I'm automatically feeling the conviction. So I start, like I stopped eating pork. And I keep the dietary law. I stopped shaving my beard and stuff. But I'm still in the streets. I don't see a way out. I don't understand. I feel obligated. And then mind you, this is a pivotal time in my life because I'm 17, turning 18. So now I'm on my own, in the world. And, you got to make it in this world. And I don't know what to do. I don't have the life skills to go and do anything. So this street stuff, it's making the most sense to me. I know I could take something from somebody. I know I can sell drugs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm
That's what you're accustomed to.
that's what I'm accustomed to doing.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm gonna do.
Exactly.
I'm gonna rob, I'm gonna steal, I'm gonna sell drugs. That's all I'm knowing about doing. I'm gonna gangbang with my homies. We gonna get into situations. We gonna treat women like dirt. This is what this is what we do. You see what I'm saying? So I'm so accustomed to that. I was so deep into it that it was so difficult for me to find a way out of it. It was so difficult for me to find a way out of it, even though I knew I had a higher calling. Yeah, so when you asked me the question, how hard was it for me to transition from the streets to the Most High? The answer is it's probably the hardest thing that I've ever had to do. Bar none, the hardest thing that I've ever had to do. And it took me, because a few things have took me 4 years to do. It took me 4 years to do.
Yeah, that's a long time.
To come in the truth, I come in the truth August, or I learn, I get introduced August 3rd, which is my set day, 2008.
Right.
You see, there go that 8. You see that? 2 8s. 8, you see that? So, to come in then, and then to say that I was fully out of the streets January 2013. So that's 4 years and 5 months. It took me almost 4.5 years. By the time January 2013 came, I was out of the streets, and then I go to jail. So then that's like the ultimate, you better not play moment. And the Most High will do that. He'll give you space and opportunity to unlearn a bad habit or to stop a bad behavior. And then when you're not doing it, you're not giving it up, he's going to shake you up. He's going to leave you no choice at all. Then I get out, I have probation. I have gang probation. So when I deal with gang probation, there are certain things I can't do, certain things I can't wear, things like that. I can't put the Astro hat on. This is a big deal to me, right?
Yeah.
So, but it was good for me because I needed that probation. I needed that time to learn how to operate properly in the Most High. So now, after that time, I can represent where I come from on a positive level.
Exactly.
I've learned how to do that now. So now when you see this hat on my damn head or anything I do that is still acknowledging where I come from, because I'm not from, like, that's what people say, oh, I used to be. I ain't no used to be.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's just I've transitioned and elevated my life, but I'm still gonna represent what and who I am and where I come from, because I need to be an example not only to those who come from the same thing, but those who come from something similar.
Exactly.
Because you can be a rolling 60 and you can still learn, and there's rolling 60s that look at me and go, okay, he don't come from the exact same thing as me, but he come from the same type of thing as me, even though we're on opposite sides. And now I can look at him, and so now you see me sit down with a rolling 60, a rolling 20, a rolling 40. I can do that now because we're all elevating past the negative aspect of what we used to do, and now we're trying to be positive representations of where we come from. You see what I'm saying? So all that's key, but it's in that example, and there's been so many people who have made the transition out of the streets into the commandments and following the Most High, because I was that example of something, and I showed them how they can do it through my life.
And even when you go back to like somebody being from a different hood, etc., and you got them 3 type of men that can come out of their hood, and then one, he's speaking positive stuff in his hood and nobody want to listen to him, but when he coming up speaking positive, he was a factor, and then he look at somebody else that's from a different gang but the same type of lifestyle, he'd be like, all right, I'm gonna just go talk to him, and we both can be positive and show that we can come together and unite and not have no BS between us no more, because we not on that no more. We shed that light.
And that's important. Those are important symbols. When you see me with a brick baby, when you see me with a spotty face, those are like, some people may not understand, but people who from that West Coast, they understand that that's a monumental moment. That this is a big deal, and that God is a part of it. God is behind that. You know, so it's supposed to serve as an inspiration and a positive influence, you know?
Even you know what I'm saying, even with the Akim that's over there.
Mm-hmm. And then
All them coming together.
People don't even realize we got rolling 60s and stuff like that in our organization, in the SICARI.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
there.
yeah.
We got gangsters. We got all the gangs
Yeah.
represented in this one organization, all going to the streets, evangelizing, teaching the word of God together. Right?
And it's crazy, like Saturday, Juan was talking about at camp how we could come together. You can just trust some random nigga you never met, all because we following the commandments and we doing that. And you can, you know what I'm saying, people who you're supposed to be out with, you can be in the same Airbnb with them, you know what I'm saying, same house with them, and you could have your life depend on them. You can sit valuable items down, you know it's gonna be right there, you know it's not gonna get touched, and you trust in these folks that just came and changed their life and start following the Bible and following God, bro. That's just crazy when you think about how it can bring these all type of people together, supposedly enemies,
Yeah.
all different type of lifestyles.
In love.
Yeah, in love.
You know, shout out my brother ODM Slim too.
Yeah.
That's another one. You know, from
Yeah.
5-7 neighborhood. You know, that's a brother. We just got genuine love for each other.
Yeah.
But we not supposed to.
Exactly.
Let people
Let people tell it.
We're supposed to have genuine love for each other. You know my little homie Scarface.
Yeah.
So for a minute, his mom was dealing with an older homie from Slim's hood.
Okay.
He paroled to Scarface's house.
Yeah.
So I come in the house. I'm like probably 16, 17. I'm probably like 16, 17 at the time. And boom, I come in the house and he got his shirt on. He in there with a big ass 57th Street on his back.
Yeah.
This fish for 5'7". And he like, man, you know what I mean? Boom, so I close the door. I ask Face, I'm like, man, you want me to lock the door, cuz? He get up, he like, cuz, where you niggas from? Now I banged on him, man. He kicked us out the house. He kicked us out the house. You asked Joe. Joe was there with me, Joe, and Face.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He put us about the house, but then, you know, he doubled back on me. He like, hey, man, you know what I'm saying? Hey, look, you know, you just being a little extra in the house. You know, I ain't tripping, though, you know what I mean? But you was just being a little extra, you know what I mean? Because I didn't just like, he's like, man, you could have just been like, man, I'm from Hoover, homie, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't, I really kind of I was being extra for sure. You know what I'm saying? But I was just in the mood, and like I said, you know, me and Joe talked about when he was here, when we together, bro, we feel like unstoppable. So I don't give a damn who it is, you know what I'm saying? We're tripping, you know what I'm saying? So,
Just that connection.
you know, it's just that connection. So I'm just, you know, I was being extra for sure. You know what I mean? But he got on, but you know, he was cool. Of course, he's just getting out of prison, so he like, come on, man, you know, I was messing with some hoovers up in the jail and getting money. And you know, when niggas go to prison, that's when a lot of dynamics change in the penitentiary, in the system. A lot of dynamics change. So, you know, there's that. A lot of niggas start intermingling with each other because they have to. Because when you go in jail, it's more so, there's like the black umbrella, everybody's running up under the black umbrella. There's still your segments and everybody still do that, but it's less tension amongst the groups because the black umbrella is preeminent there. It's more racially motivated when you go up in the jail. So, you know, he just assured me that, but you know, that's just, again though, but on a positive level, you got us coming together, different brothers I'm supposed to be enemies with, and that's important. That's an important example because I got homies tapping in that's either, you know, Hoovers or, you know, our allies, be it A-Tray gangsters, insanes, things like this, and they're watching. They're watching, they understand, like, okay, I see what he over there doing, I see him over there with him. Alshon Martin, he just did his interview on No Jumper. He was talking about, hey, man, one of my homeboys, he real tight with Spody Face. You know, they on some positive stuff, and they, you know, they talking good and stuff like that. So I like to be that positive example, you know, for the whole, that whole segment of our society. But especially, you know, for my homies, and when I say my homies, this is people I know, because, you know, I'm from something that's not small by any stretch of the imagination. You know, this Hoover thing is quite large, and it's nationwide. It ain't just in one place. It's all over the place. But homies tap in with me, be it from the land, back home, all over the place, and they watching, and they love it. A lot of them are loving what they seen, and they're being inspired, man. And that's what I'm here to do, be an inspiration. You know, I once said I'm on a mission to get niggas that's cripping in the fringes, bro, and I'm just on that mission, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Continue to do that, man.
That's it.
You know?
That's it. Everybody ain't cut out for that job, though. Some niggas don't like that job. I don't care, because I see what my job is doing. I see how my job is working through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, of course.
God. Plan on doing for the next 6 months.
Everything. Praise the Lord. I plan on doing everything. Everything the Most High give me the power and ability to do, I plan on doing it. Silverback course coming out, which is all just about leadership, man, because there's such a deficit in leadership in our community. There's such a lack of example of positive leadership, you know what I'm saying? So I want to take the things in which the Most High has shown me throughout my life, bottle them up, and package them to brothers out there so they can get a step ahead and learn what righteous leadership is in the eyes of the Most High. And they have a real example who's still a work and learning as I go, but I have 34 years of guidance to share, and praise the Most High. Half of them I've been walking with the Most High and following the scriptures half of my 34 years. So I think that gives me a bit of an edge over certain people in this regard. Now, you may not agree, and if you don't agree, then it's fine, it ain't for you. But for those of you who agree, definitely my Silverback program, man, is going to be powerful, man. So definitely look for that. It's going to be exclusive on GRLA.tv.
Why you feel like it's a lack of leadership?
It all starts with weakness. It's really our truest enemy is weakness. And I'm going to explain. Our weakness leads us into lack of leadership, right? Through us giving into our weakness, we now aren't being the leaders we're supposed to be. We fall into unrighteousness, and that unrighteousness leads us into being oppressed, right? No outside force could have ever oppressed us if we didn't get weak, right? If we did not fall susceptible to weakness, we could have never been oppressed by any force outside of us. Through giving into our weaknesses, we've now became unrighteous and are oppressed. So we just have to reverse that through righteous leadership, and that righteous leadership is going to lead us to attaining the lifestyle that we all deserve. And that lifestyle we all deserve, like this stuff people are doing now is cool, and people are having nice things and cars and houses and going on trips. All that's cool, ain't nothing wrong with none of that, right? But the true lifestyle we trying to attain is a dominion, is a kingdom, right? And a kingdom doesn't exist under the subjugation of anybody else. I want to make that clear. The kingdom is our total dominion over this earth, the earth that was rightfully made for us, the earth that when we were stewards of it, thrived and was not destroyed, was not polluted, etc. So that's the ultimate goal. And of course, we're going to do that through righteous leadership.